All right, everybody, welcome to today's live. Thanks for showing up today. Today, we've actually got Doug Anderson, who is someone who I've known for a while. Mason, what's up? We got Mason as well here. So, hey, for those of you who have seen me and Mason's video interview, that's a really good one as well. So yeah, Doug, we actually met through a mutual connection in the credit space a while back. And Doug is someone, for those of you watching, who we've done a few rounds of funding with. Doug, you were actually one of our earlier clients that Sophia and I were able to work with. And as we were kind of still establishing our brand, we got started. But yeah, it's been a real pleasure to work with you. And Mason, how are you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing good, man. Just got here to San Diego. Glad to be here.
Woo! Beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, as I was saying, Mason, great to see you as well. For those of you watching, me and Mason did a live as well a few like a month or two back, like a couple months
Yeah,
back.
about 2 months ago,
Um,
month and a half. Yeah,
yeah, we
that
were
one was
actually
good,
able to
man.
knock out like 100K for you over at Chase on a new business. So that was one of
Easy
my
work.
favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, it was simple. Just two little things. Boom, boom, 50K each, 100K together.
Yeah.
Simple. I
Too
love it.
easy. Yeah, for anyone
Real.
watching, I just before we get started with you, Doug, I wanted to kind of mention that since we have you here as well, Mason. You guys are cousins, right?
Right. Yes.
Right. So Mason, I originally met you through Doug. Doug, I met you through
Yeah.
Lawrence, who was also a client of ours. But yeah, for anyone watching, make sure you go check out the guides section of our community. I have an interview with Mason as well, where we talk about his process and working with us. So glad to have you here. But
Yep.
Doug, how are you doing today, man?
Man, I'm good. I'm grateful. Thank you for having me, man. I'm honored. I'm honored.
I'm grateful to have you here, bro.
Dude, this stuff's fun to me, man. Being able to teach people how to move money around a little bit, and get to the goals that they want to.
Yeah.
I'm grateful and have the knowledge to be able to pass on to others.
Yeah, yeah. So let's actually unpack what you just said a little bit there. Just do you want to kind of introduce yourself a little bit and tell us what you do professionally, what you do to help other
Yeah,
people? Just kind of riff.
yeah. I mean, name's Doug Anderson. I work federal government during the day, logistics, working with the military or war fighters. I pretty much swap out the bad plane parts for the good plane parts. So just to kind of put that in perspective, do that 4 in the morning to 2:30, 2:30 to 10. I'm running my notary business, helping others. So what I do for my notary business is pretty much I'm the notary who comes to the house to sign your loan docs. I'll deploy other notaries while I'm on vacation. I have a couple that I work with. But yeah, just doing that, serving people after I finish, serving the country. And then between that time, I'm doing real estate, baby. So it's
Yeah.
time blocking, a lot of time blocking throughout the week. But I love it though. I love what I do. I love helping people mostly. I mean, being able to pay it forward. That's what
You're very good at that.
I love
Very
it
good at
because
that.
I don't think these things should be secret. The stuff that we don't learn in college or high school, which is about your credit, about how to manage debt, taxes. They don't teach those things even when you graduate college. You have to learn those just going through life, or if you have somebody paying it forward to you, and you're gonna listen. So I'm just grateful to have the knowledge to be able to pay it forward now, because
Yeah.
now I know the plays to be able to explain it and break it down to others who might not understand like uh how the banks are operating, right? And I'm able to break it down like a 2-year-old to where they can understand and how money moves.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's how I feel sometimes as well. One of the things that I really focus on is doing like personal credit consultations because as you know, and I actually want to talk to you about this to you specifically today because you're a big advocate of it, but just like the personal credit foundation for being able to obtain business funding at a high level. It's like you said, like they don't teach personal credit in school. They don't teach business funding. They don't teach bank underwriting guidelines. They don't teach taxes. They don't teach
Right.
how to utilize debt. Like none of these financial educational tools
Right.
are taught in school. So people typically will find them through other means like maybe an online course, a one-on-one mentorship, maybe just working with a company that has this kind of expertise. So like you own a business, a lot of people, you also have a very large network. A lot of people learn things through you. A lot of people learn things through me. And, I always hear from people, like my credit score is so high, on the calls that I have with people, like, they'll be able to get business funding. And my answer is always like, okay, but like, forget your credit score. Like that's a general health
Right.
indicator of your
Right.
actual credit report. But let's look into the credit report and see what that unpacks, right? Because that's not something they
We on
teach
that.
in school. So it's like, how can I, as someone who's looking to help you, expect you to know that? You know what I mean? And that's what
Right.
I'm here to
Right.
help people do. So
Yep.
since we're just on this
And I
topic,
love that segue.
hmm?
Yeah, I love that segue because that's like that's the basis, that's the foundation of everything that we're doing here today is making sure your personal credit profile is how it's supposed to be to optimize your funding. Like if your credit profile isn't on point, and they give you directions, the Credit Karma experience, like they give you directions. They'll let you know what's red, yellow, and green. That's your path. You know, not, but you got to listen to things like that. Like, but if you don't even know what your credit profile is, I mean, you're shooting at a dartboard in the dark.
You know,
Yeah,
when you
see,
say
You don't even know which way you're going.
when you say make it so easy that like a 2-year-old can understand it, and then you go, Credit Karma literally makes it red, yellow, and green, man. Like, it's just pretty funny. Like, you know,
Like, yeah. I don't know how else to explain it. I'm like, dude, that's your direction. And then so if something's red, then you have to get that green somehow, right? So you start working on to get that green. That's your direction. And then you start knocking out those little things little at a time. And like I said, when I first got back from Afghanistan in 2014, I made not so good business decision. My credit went from 730 because I took a lot of pride in my credit. My dad taught me that, and it went from 730 to like 410. I want to say, crush me, crush me. Most people would have quit, and I was all like, well, and then eight and a half, 9 years later, tenacity, patience, and hard work, over 800.
let me ask about that.
Tenacity. Go ahead.
Tenacity, patience, hard work, right? So
Tenacity, patience, hard work.
what I actually want to know, you're such an advocate for personal credit. You know, I follow you on Instagram. I see all the kinds of stuff you post. You send a lot of good business our way as well, which we really appreciate. Why are
Always.
you such an advocate for personal credit? Like what started that for you, and why do you continue to preach it? I mean, I know my reasons, but the
Yeah,
spotlight's on.
yeah, yeah. No, my dad, he preached that to me a lot. Like he even had like a bankruptcy, and I would see this stuff growing up, and I was like, okay, well, this is how you navigate this. This is how you navigate around this. But what really made me start paying attention to credit is I couldn't get my secret security clearance unless I had a 670. And I was like, okay. So that's when I started making, those strides towards good credit. I was 21 at the time. But I think it's super important because that's how we walk around. That's how we're recognized. That's how we get anything here in the United States. That's how you're scored, your credit score. That's what determines what you can get.
everything.
Lending, whether you look risky. You're like
Oh,
you're walking around, but you're a score, whatever your score is, and that your score reflects your habits. And it tells a story. So I think that's important. If you have a good score, a decent score, or you're getting to score, you're getting your score to where you need it to be, which is, excellent. Everybody wants excellent credit, right? Therefore, they can obtain everything, right? But it takes hard work, patience, and tenacity. And then, once you achieve that, now you have to constantly manage. I always tell people, like, even my dad, me and him talk all the time. I look at my credit score every day.
so do I.
I look at because you don't know what's gonna pop up, what's not gonna pop up on that bad boy. Like I don't know if you ever gotten a home or anything like that. Like people who buy homes, there's a signature name affidavit that has all these different names on there that gets pulled from your credit score. Little things like that. Just cleaning that bad boy up when they pull your credit. Like you got to be looking at that every day. I
Dude,
think so, at least once a week, so you know what's going on.
yeah, you got to monitor it. And yeah, I like the way you put it. That's
Yeah,
your financial profile, like the same way you would take care of like, I don't know, your Instagram account or like take care of whatever it is, your outfit, right? When you step outside or when you're going out on a Friday night, like you got to take care of your credit report when you're going into the banks because like you said, a credit report, really all that is a track record of payment history. And good credit is built at a foundational level by making a lot of on-time payments to accounts over a long period of time. That's literally all credit is just paying on time over and over and over again. And the more you do that and the more accounts you do that with, and the more diversity of accounts you do that with, the more
yep,
that score is going up. And it's really that simple. So I was
right.
this is kind of a hot take, but I was on a phone call today with someone who, has some collections on their credit report and yada yada. And I was like, man, you might want to consider doing some credit repair, before you get into business funding. And they were very much
Right.
against like spending money on credit repair. And I just told them like, would you really value like maybe $1,000 or $2,000 over like a clean credit report? Like,
Right.
for me personally, I would take the clean credit report any day.
All day.
Any
It's an
day over
investment
a
in
couple
yourself.
grand, you know?
Yeah, it's an investment in yourself. Like, and that's what kind of irks me sometimes about people like that want to start their own business and stuff like that. They don't want to pay the extra 500 to learn more about that craft so they can serve their clients better. I'm like, so you don't want to invest $500 in yourself?
Yeah.
Those examples. So even cleaning up your credit report, same thing. Like you're not going to invest that money into yourself, but you go spend $500 at an NFL game.
Right.
I'm just saying, or at the bar.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, just putting it in perspective for people. Like, what's more important, yourself and your well being, or going out and hanging out with your friends, or going to watch some NFL players that you'll probably never talk to in your life?
Right. Yeah. It's your
Like,
financial.
right. And it's just like,
Mhm.
take care of yourself, and you got to start somewhere. Like, a lot of people are so afraid to look at their credit score or even open it up. But I'm like, dude, if you never open it up or look, where are you even going to start? You have to take the first step. And it starts with your personal financial credit score, and go through your profile, comb through that bad boy. Like I said, I only say that because I went from 730 to 410 or whatever it was and worked my way back up to, like, I went back and forth twice. And I was like, that's not happening 3 times, man. So
Hey,
I was like, okay, cool.
all this talk about personal credit has me inspired. I'm gonna drop a little random call to action here. Everyone can thank Doug and Mason for this, okay? So anyone watching this or in the future is watching this who wants a free personal credit consultation, just drop the word personal credit down in the comments of this video. I'll reach out to you personally, and Sophia and I will literally individually look over your credit report for you and start giving you instructional steps to optimize it for funding. Doug, you
Oh,
know all about this. Mason, you know all about this. I mean, dude, we watch your
Oh
credit
yeah.
score go up like crazy after we did that optimization step.
Oh yeah.
yeah. Had to move a
Yeah,
couple things
super.
around, boom, 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 you're good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. No, it's
that's
crazy.
just where it starts.
Yeah, see, and I never knew how important credit was until we started all this. And I reached out to him. I was like, hey, look, man, I'm low on funds. I don't know what to do, blah, blah, blah. And he's all about not using his money, using somebody else's money, the bank's money to do his projects. And that's I love how he thinks like that, because like that's the best way to do it. If you can find those ways, which there are hundreds of ways to do that, and he found the way. I was, in a point where I was stuck. He pointed me to you. I didn't know how important credit was. Like me, I always made all my payments on time, but my utilization was really high. I didn't know like that was a bad thing. I thought, hey, if I make my payments on time all the time, what's the problem? But yeah, I never knew the importance of credit until we started this whole process.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
and you know what?
So
It's
that's why I
interesting
really
too.
wanted to drive that home.
Yeah, no, it's super important. I'm glad you brought that up today. Because and Mason, for you as well, like a lot of people, they'll start looking for funds when they've exhausted their funds. And the first funds they resort to, their personal credit cards. But it's a trap because once you use your personal credit cards, nobody's trying to give you money
Yeah,
anymore. They can
yeah.
see it, right?
That's what
And
happened
that's
to me. That's
why
Yeah.
exactly what happened to me.
yeah, and you did the work. We gave you kind of the optimization steps. You found a short-term capital solution that works for you. You were able to inject that into your credit report, and then we were able to set you up for the business funding and just boom, 100K at Chase Bank, just like that. So that's how the game is played. And now, because any debt is going to be sitting on the business side, we keep the personal credit score intact. Amex doesn't know that, Chase has 100K loaned out to someone and that maybe that utilization is high at the moment because it's in an investment, it's liquidated already. Amex is still willing to loan to you. You know why? Because your personal credit score is good. And, you borrow the money on the business side, and business credit is made for long-term investments. So when we're talking about someone like Doug, who's very savvy with creative financing and borrowing money to turn it into a profit, Doug, you understand that there's really not a better deal you're going to get than 0% interest business credit. Number one, because it's free money. 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 I don't know how many times I have to say that. Take the bank's
Love
money,
it.
flip it, make a 10% profit margin. On 100K, you're keeping the 10K. You know, if you're a fix and flipper, this works. If you're doing Airbnb, this works, right? Any of these high profit business models work really well with this. Secondary, it's a revolving account. Okay. So credit versus a loan. This is cool because a credit card or a line of credit you can borrow from, then pay it back. And after you pay it back, you know what you could do? You could borrow from it again, pay it back. So it's just acting as an extension of your bank account. Whereas a loan, like a term loan, you basically have to pay it back. You're at a fixed interest rate. And then once it's paid back, your job is done. And if you want more money, you have to go seek another loan. So you want revolving accounts because they're basically just an arm of your bank account that you can just keep pulling from and basically playing ping pong with that money, you know, borrow, pay it back, especially at 0%
Right.
interest. It's just a no.
Open-ended loans. Open-ended loans, man. You can't
Yeah,
beat those.
open-ended loans. I like that. So
Yeah, you can't beat that. And then holding costs at 0%, 1% minimum for the most part. I mean, as a real estate investor, if your holding costs are 1%, I'm telling you, contact Xavier. If your holding costs are 1%, contact Xavier, man. Because my holding costs are 1% on
enough said. Enough said.
my
So
ass.
Doug,
I'm loving it. I'm loving
moving
it.
into like the funding side of things, since you are kind of a repeat client of ours,
Right.
what was your initial purpose for coming to Sophia and I seeking funds?
It was to convert our garage. Yeah, it was to
Garage
convert our garage
conversion.
because we were yeah, garage conversion into an ADU because the whole play was to turn around trying to lower our mortgage, right? So say, our mortgage is 4,000. If we rent out the ADU for 2,000, we're cutting our mortgage in half. So, but we need to build the ADU. How do we do that? Now you got to reverse engineer, right? If you don't have the money, how are we going to get the money? Business funding. We know we have a couple businesses. Okay, cool. That's where me and you started doing our thing. Boom, funding. I think we funded what, like 64,400 or something like that.
Dude,
I think
honestly,
it was somewhere
I
around
think it
there.
was 63.4, I think.
Yeah,
But
I think it was somewhere about 64,000. And then we had additional funds. The project, I think we had $20,000 additional funds, and then the whole project cost like 75. So I'm like, dude, if we get 75 around 70, I mean around 60,000, we're good. We can convert the garage off 0%, business credit cards. And the important part on that, like if you're a real estate investor, make sure your contractor takes credit cards,
Yep.
not cash. That's the biggest factor.
yeah,
So
Doug,
I always bet everybody on that.
did we have to like convert any of your credit cards to cash? I don't think we did.
No,
Or did you end up doing
no,
any?
because I already did my due diligence on my contractors and who I was going to be using and set up payment processes before I even started my funding. So I contacted my contractor. I was like, hey, okay, how do you take credit cards, right? Okay, how are we going to process these credit cards? Just so I know, like, because there's going to be credit card fees. So you need to factor in that percentage into your holding costs, right? Like all
Mhm.
these are numbers. So you need to factor that in there. And then you're like, okay, every time I get charged for this project, so you can take your whole project cost and then times it by that percentage that's going to be charged by a credit card. And that's your total cost of the project pretty much. And then, as soon as they do charging, say they use Square. You guys know you're going to be charging Square every time. Boom, send me a receipt. Boom, file it. And then that's the rotation.
Good tip. Yeah, I like that. I like that. You kind of came
Yeah,
in
man.
like you meditated. You were like, I'm gonna knock out the 0% cards, but I'm gonna make sure I don't have to liquidate them into cash because that's gonna save you some money too, actually. So
Right.
yeah. Yeah,
But the
that's
liquidation, I love it. Like if you're ever in a bunch where you do need cash or something like that, and you do have a card that's like 15,000 on it, and you need to liquidate, that's amazing that you have the option to liquidate. Oh yeah, okay, boom, I need 6K cash, boom, to pay for this. Say it's you run out of holding costs for your what can't you pay with credit card? Mortgage. Your holding cost for your mortgage on your hard money loan. You got to pay that in cash, right? So you can't pay your mortgage with a credit card. So that's why I was like, okay, boom, liquidate your payment. I love that option. I love that that's a backup. So
mhm.
you can essentially liquidate your credit card, boom, take care of your monthly holding costs for the mortgage payment, and then continue charging the credit cards for the rehab.
Love it. Yeah, and I'm
It's
just
so
gonna kind of
flexible.
define liquidation a little bit as well because A lot of the
Yeah,
people who are watching this live might not necessarily understand what that term like really means for us. So for anyone
perfect.
watching this, um, we went with the 0% interest business cards in your case, Doug, because number one, they're low hanging fruit. They don't require financial documentation to get even. So they're very easy. You can knock out like 100K in business cards pretty easily if you know what you're doing. But you kind of came in premeditating that and you were like, okay, make sure my contractors can take the card, right? Which I think is very smart. And that's a great tip for anyone. In the case that you do need cash, but like let's say you don't have business revenue, so you can't really go for a business line of credit, you can't go for a loan, you can't get a merchant cash advance, which I hope you're not going for those anyway, but that's another
Right.
story. So we go for the 0% cards. You could have a new business and you could do it, but you need cash, right? Well, through a process called liquidation, that's the terminology we use anyway, you can convert a credit card into cash. Now, keep in mind, you're going to need to pay standard merchant processing fees of 2.9% minimum. But basically, this is a process that can turn a credit card into cash. So, if you need cash to run certain transactions, you're able to do it through this process that we refer to as liquidation versus going to the banks and getting a cash advance. Okay. So, just a little tidbit on what that is that we're talking about here. Doug, in terms of your ADU, you were turning the garage into it. Did you just use funds for what, like furnishing? Did you like what exactly did the funding go into?
Oh man, A to Z, A to Z, A to Z. You used it for the drafting, architecture, everything, the permitting, all that stuff, man. I didn't spend 1 cent of my capital out of my bank account, which was
Nice.
the original plan. And it's amazing because we did a full recycle, which means, we pulled the money out of the home and paid off the cards all within 9 months. All this happened within 9 months. We just closed on our HE loan. I think it was the 19th of this month. So full cycle of rehabbing a whole project, renovating it purely with credit cards, pulling the equity out of the home and using that money to pay off the credit card. So basically we just built the ADU for free.
That's insane. So you
That's
just
crazy.
cycled the money in like full circle.
That's the name of the game though. Do it for free. And then now that payment is $900, but say we still had that $2,000 a month coming from that unit that I originally gave you, that example. Our mortgage is still not going to be 4,000. We're still only coming out like probably like $1,000 each for mortgage in San Diego, and we have 2 units. Probably less than that. I think our last one was like $500. Everybody paid $500 for mortgage in San Diego.
Hold
Which
on, hold on,
good.
hold on. Just pause for 1 second. Can you
Right.
just
That's
repeat,
I
can you just repeat what you just said? Because I think people need to take notes on that strategy you just did with the 0% card and the line of
Oh
credit.
yeah.
Can you just break that down one more time? Because I want to make sure
Yeah,
that
so we just
you're ready to
basically we converted a whole garage, like how we just broke down. We converted a whole garage with business credit cards, rented it out as soon as it was done to Airbnb. It brought in more than half our mortgage. It still brings in more than half our mortgage. And then we pretty much after it was appraised and everything, we pulled out the equity, took that equity, paid off the cards. Now that payment on that HE loan is like $900 or something like that. High interest rate, but we have it under a 30-year now, a 30
Yeah.
year fix. And it's
Yeah.
not credit card. And we did this all before the 0% ran out on all of on our first card that we ever took out. It was like perfect timing.
So that's wild because you used the asset to self-generate itself. Like instead of even using the profits to pay off the cards, which was what I expected you would do, you
Oh
actually
no.
used it to pay off the cards itself, and now you're having it just eat away at itself. Yeah.
Right.
Like,
So basically,
yeah,
basically like we got a mortgage for the mortgage for the ADU is $900.
right. Yeah.
Because the
Crazy.
main mortgage,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
main mortgage for
that's a
the
good way
main
to think
home
about it.
is $4,000. The mortgage for the ADU is $900 or 950 or something like that. But the ADU brings in like over 2750 a month.
Right.
So that's midterm.
Problem
We're
solved.
utilizing midterm rentals.
Yeah.
So military, traveling nurses, anybody construction, anybody looking to stay anywhere from 31 days to I mean, shoot, if they want to pay short-term rents for 12 months, I mean, I'm not gonna not let them.
You're right.
But you get my point. Like that's paying for itself, plus some of our regular mortgage for the main
Yeah.
house. We're still living there. So
Yeah.
therefore that cut our split down
Damn
because
near
we
half.
split the mortgage. We split the mortgage by 3, cut it down to like $600 per person. And we're in San Diego.
How do I like send fire emojis into this live stream right now? I gotta take note.
It's not. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. I'm happy it worked out because I worked it all out in my head and I wrote it down on paper a million times. A million times. I was like, okay, it has to work. The only way it's gonna work is if I keep track of the numbers. And I
Yeah.
think I was managing. Oh, this is a good one for you because we just did a second funding for my Detroit property. I was managing 15 cards at the same time. And I'm glad we closed that heat loan and we paid off those first 6 cards
Yeah.
because I was managing 15 cards at the same time, and that's tough. But the fact that I showed myself I can manage 15 cards at the same time, I'm like, okay, and it works. The process works, and we prove concept. I'm like, oh, we're off to the races now. We prove concept.
Yeah. Amazing, dude. Yeah. So, are those cards all going to the Detroit property, or are they just kind of like in limbo right now, or
Oh
what?
man, I'm glad you asked me that. So, for our second funding, for everyone who doesn't know, for our second funding, me and Xavier, we had to strategize a little bit, and we had to go with the smaller banks, not the bigger banks, like the Amex, the Chases, all those bigger banks. We had to go to smaller banks. We still got favorable funding, which was great. Now that those other cards are paid off, Chase is going to see that they're paid off. Amex is going to see that they're paid off. But I'm going to apply for those same cards with a different business, move over those lines to the other business. So basically doubling my lines at 0%.
And you're
And then
taking a note
finishing the
out of my
Detroit
book
property.
right now, man. You stealing my
Hey man, I'm just hey, you taught me the plays. I'm just running them.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm talking about, man. That's exactly how you do it. Because now that you don't owe the big banks any money, you double down on them, and then a lot of those big banks will let you move those lines over.
Right.
You get like a 50K Chase card, cool, use it up, pay it back, go get another 50K Chase card, just move the
Yep.
line. Now you got a
Right.
100K Chase card at 0% fresh.
0%.
See, I never knew about that either. That's
And
crazy.
that
Oh,
and another
Mason,
thing
you'll
I
know
would
soon.
Oh yeah.
another thing I do want to mention with that is once you have your personal credit good, you should also kind of probably be setting up a business or LLC on the side, at the same time. So it's gaining, you want to gain that tenure because after 2 years, I think that's when your new business little mark falls off. So you want to kind of start your LLC. It doesn't take a lot to start your LLC while you're working on your personal credit because once your personal credit is good, you're gonna have to get business funding, right? You're gonna need an LLC or something to do that. So you might as well start seasoning your LLC, maybe start a Chase, maybe start a Bank of America account, right? Those are the 2 big banks that you want to start with, seasoning accounts. But while you're working on your personal credit, that way a year goes by, you working on your personal credit. Okay, now you're at 750, 800, whatever. But now your business is also 1 year old,
Yep.
and your bank accounts. And then now you can really start moving around. So just want to throw that in there with the businesses because then now you're kind of like you're still seasoning while you're working on something else, killing 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yep. I always tell people that. I'm like, just get started now. Start working on your credit now. Start create the LLC now. That's a big one. I do advise people to do as well.
Right. That's why I said just start while you're working on it. Just have your LLC started. That way
Yeah.
your LLC is just sitting there. That doesn't mean you got to put money in there. Go put money in there every now and then. But make sure your LLC is started while you're working on your credit.
Yeah, and a lot of people want the business lines of credit as well. That's very popular because they're liquid cash products. And they'll come at a lower interest rate than a lot of other products that people can get their hands on. But business lines of credit almost universally require 2 years minimum of business age, as you know, Doug. So, it's good too. You could start the LLC, at least get some age on it. Mason, you're a perfect example of how someone with a new business can still jam out like a crap load of funding. So yeah, you could still get the cards even on a new business though, but then you use those cards to start getting revenue in your business checking account. So then when your business hits 2 years, you even have like 1 year, 2 year tax returns. Now you can go hit major banks and go get business lines of credit with no UCC filing. And then you can go block stacking, business line of credit stacking versus credit card stacking. So, Doug, I know we got to talk about that, man, but yeah.
Oh man, yeah, I got the play. I got the plays up here. I'm like, this is where the patience comes in
Yeah.
because I'm like, I have the plays right here. I'm like, okay, I gotta go. Wait, hold on, let me clean up because even me, like, after doing so many rounds of funding, you gotta clean up those inquiries, right? So, knocking out a couple of inquiries, cleaning those up, getting those, ready for the next round or whatever, just in case I need to, some extra funds to finish up Detroit. But like I said, with the small banks that we went with and the funding that we got, I'm rocking and rolling already. Now that those other cards are paid off, I was like, okay, that'll be my contingency plan. And then so I'm good. I'm good with that. And then pretty much as soon as Detroit's done, refinance that bad boy, take the money, pay off the cards, same thing.
Yep, that's the game. That's the game. Hey, before we get off topic with this ADU you built out, I gotta show some pictures of
Yeah,
this. The Airbnb listing right now.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Nice.
We're having some good talks here, and I almost completely forgot about
I
this.
love
But
it. I could talk about this stuff all day, man.
I know, you and me both. So hey, this is the unit, man. Look at this. Beautiful San Diego studio. I actually got the privilege of stepping into this in person not too long ago, but yeah, it's gorgeous.
And it is cool because I get the wifey, I gave her a budget tip for design. And what I did was just hand her one of the cards and was like, okay, your budget is this much. And she's like, oh, I
Oh,
could just
really?
have the card. I was like, yeah, just here. This is the card for the furnishings. Just order everything, whatever you need to do. And she did it, man. She look, I mean, right there.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love
she
how
did.
like just clean and like minimalistic it is. Like this is totally my style. And it's over there in San Diego too. Like it's got really nice lighting in here. It feels like kind of, it still feels kind of beachy. You know what I
Right.
mean?
You put the skylight in there. This used to be a
Yeah.
garage, you guys. This is a 360 square foot garage.
Yeah, I know it's cool.
I'm happy with how it came out. By the military base, it's central, close to everything. People love it.
So this was done just completely what, like 70K-ish in funds,
Yeah,
right?
about 72.
72.
Yep, about
And then
72, all in, all in.
yeah, and then you pulled out what, the HELOC, and then you use that to reconsolidate the cards, and now the cards can be used
Yep,
for zero. Yeah.
yep. So which was cool. Like we pulled out. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously you're going off what the appraiser appraised it at. Yeah. Anyways, we got enough to pay off the car, so we pulled out like 80. I think we got 80 out of it, paid off the cards, which was at like 75, and then we all split whatever was left.
Crazy.
And then so now,
Um,
yeah, now we're just gonna do more value adds to the interior of the house before we leave. ACs, floors, no carpet, stuff like that, and then pull a little bit more money out before we leave, and then this bad boy will be cash flowing all the way around.
so you got the super host.
Oh yeah,
I saw, look at this location. I don't know where this is. I know it's in San Diego.
that's
Oh,
that's
you're not far by Gaslamp.
right. Yep, that's a military base right there where your cursor was at, where those
Right
little
here.
lines are in the ocean. Nah, down. Yep, right under Barrio Logan. Yep,
This little thing right
right
here.
under there. Yep, right there. That's a
Oh
military base.
shoot.
One of them. That's what all those ports are. Those are for the ships.
Yeah, look at this location, man.
Mm-hmm. It's not bad. It's central, man. I want to just be able to do more of these on a larger scale that kind of help people, give people a great place to live, but not cost me a lot of money out of my pocket.
I got you. Hey, if anyone watching this is not using their business credit to get a sun-drenched haven in San Diego, then you're not winning, okay? That's all I'm saying. Like, this is amazing. Right by the gas lamp, by the zoo, UCSD Health. Yeah. Yeah. So
Everything.
it's perfect for like the travel nurses. I got you.
Everything. Yeah, travel nurses, traveling
A hair
professionals.
dryer.
You got everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Even if you don't have it, let me know. I'll get it for you.
And that's why you're a super host.
Something like that. Yeah, man. I love hosting people. I love catering. I like making sure everybody has a good time.
Dude, that's crazy, man. This is awesome. One of my favorite things about what I do is that, Sophia and I, we get to actually sometimes see like what it is that people are working on with the funds, like the actual projects. Like in your case,
Yeah,
I got to step into this actual unit and see it for myself. I mean, these pictures are great.
that was great.
Um,
That was great having you there.
yeah, no, it was awesome.
That was
Mason,
so
I
cool,
gotta come
dude.
up and see what you got going on sometime, man.
Anytime.
Oh yeah. Shoot, by the time you get up there, me and Mason might be starting on like a 6 to 10 unit or something, rehabbing with credit cards.
I'm
That's the
thinking
next play.
I want to do like a cross country trip where I just visit a bunch of clients I've helped and just
Dude,
see
right.
all of the like the real estate, the barber shops, the whatever it is that they're using the
Yeah, yeah.
funds for, their retail stores, and just start getting like videos of like everything I can. I think that would be such a
Yeah.
fulfilling thing to do, you know?
Start a
Um,
YouTube doing that on the road with credit card users or something.
that'd be
On the
it's
road,
not a
bunch of
bad idea.
I'm telling you, like on the road and just be traveling and going to different, different businesses and entrepreneurs that have used credit card funding for their business.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's I don't know anyone else who's doing it. Most people are just advertising their services or their brands. But to bring something more like
Oh,
real and experiential to it,
yeah, I'm here to help. And that's what everybody I talk to, they're all like, they're asking me the same question. How do you do this? How do you do? Well, this is how I did it. And then we get more in depth on it. We'll sit and talk and have a conversation. And if they need me to consult, like give them some tips on like personal stuff. But if they're good, they don't have any major questions that like, I can't answer. I'm like, hey, give my buddy Xavier a call. He's my funding specialist. We work together a lot. He'll be able to take it from here and he'll guide you all the way through the rest of the process. And that's what I love about it, man. It's just like you want to help as much as I want to help. So passing them over to you, they're getting the same kind of customer service and hospitality, and they're getting to the goal that they wanted to, you know. And that's what I love about this whole system and this relationship, man. I love it.
yeah, no, I feel the same way. I've really one of the things I've taken away most from this business is we get a lot of people who Sophia and I just get along really well with and they want to send business to us, but finding people who we align with, people who we could just talk with casually, people who are really like customer centric and want to bring like a human touch to the business that they do. That's something that's really important to us at Restora Funding. And that's why on all these live stream videos I do, all these interviews I do, none of this is really like scripted, it's all meant to be very casual, almost with a personable
That's
kind
what I
of
like.
feel. And same with the conversations I have with people. Like, we do all the sales for our business, we do all the funding for the business, we do all the client communications for the business. Nothing is outsourced. Everything is with Sophia and I, you know,
Yeah, you
um,
guys are working.
because yeah,
Killing it.
we work hard and we believe
I
that
love
like
it.
people who are setting your expectations for you are also the
Mhm.
people who should be down in the battlefield with you. That's just the best way to do business, in my opinion.
Yep,
And that's
I
something that
agree.
you can't really do at like a mass level, but that's something we get to do with the system that we run.
I like it.
Yeah.
I think
Uh,
we're able to help more people that way. I mean, even though it's not on a scale, because I feel like when you scale, the more you scale with the more amount of people, the less intimate it is,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
like so I feel like having that personal touch, because you can still reach a good amount of people if you're giving them, having that quality time with them and, being intimate, boom, okay. Because it lets them know that you're really there and you're like, okay, look, I'm guiding you through this. Don't worry about it. Okay. We're going to be okay. You're going to make it through. You just got to follow these steps. When you're scaling and doing it on a big level, you kind of feel like forgotten about. And I've been there too in certain programs, but
Yeah,
that's what I
absolutely.
love about this. You guys are super close, tight knit, and really big on helping the person.
Yeah, awesome. Well, hey, that actually kind of leads me into another thing that I wanted to ask. How would you describe the process in working with Sophia and I? I mean, I'm glad you said all that. Is there anything else you wanted to add to that?
Oh man, dude, I like working with you guys, man. I like me hopping on the phone, like being proactive and stuff like that, being able to, oh, okay, yeah, I'll give him a call right now. Like sometimes you need to kind of be proactive. You can't expect someone to do everything for you, right? Hop on the phone, explain, talk to him. Hey, yeah, I put in this application. It was super smooth working with you guys. Like we were on the same wavelength the whole time. You guys are all like, Doug, we apply for this car, boom, boom, boom. Okay, we're gonna do this. Okay, cool. I was tracking the whole time. Yep, I already know. Everything went super smooth, and it seemed like you were surprised with the small banks on how smooth everything was going.
So, we like a lot of the big banks because they're easy. We're very familiar with their processes.
Mhm.
A lot of the banks that we were targeting for you was a little bit less charted territory than what we're used to. I mean, there's a lot of small banks that we're very familiar with, but
Right.
in a specific region, we had to kind of branch out a little bit. So, like I said before, setting proper expectations from the person who's doing the funding with you is super important. And with you,
Right.
my motto is like I always want to what is it? What is the word? Like under promise, over deliver, right? Like I would
Right.
rather
Right. Right. Right.
you for like what maybe the worst possible scenario of this case could be versus prepare you for the best and potentially fall short. I would rather have it be the other
Yep.
way around where you end up very
Right.
pleased. So that's kind of what my
Yeah.
plan is about.
I
Mhm.
like that. I like that. And that's super great. I'm a type of person, I always say without expectation comes no disappointment. And that's just me. That's just me because if I don't expect anything, I'm not going to be disappointed. That's the same thing when I go market my business. If I'm not expecting to get business for my notary business that day or get any, I'm not going to be upset. But if I get a card, oh my God, that's a win. If I get a
Mhm.
contact, that's a win.
Yeah.
Everything above nothing is a win because I wasn't expecting to, do it like I didn't have any expectations. So I like that. Without expectation comes no disappointment.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's what it's all about, and in pretty much any case I can think about, I always have done that. I've always kind of said
Yeah.
like, here's the best possible scenario. This is the worst possible scenario. This is where kind of we expect to land. And
Right.
if we do better, then awesome. We do even
And
better.
if you break it down to human behavior, the reason why we're mad about most things is because we're expecting a certain thing. We're expecting it.
Mhm.
That's what angers us, right? Because we expect to, go somewhere. We expect to hit a
Right.
certain, so we're disappointed when we don't. So if you don't have an expectation on that certain thing, it eliminates the disappointment.
Yep. The key is to stay detached from, those expectations, right? So
Right.
when I'm working with clients, absolutely, it's in my mind of like, how can I, make sure that everyone on this page understands like we're funding specialists. We're here to
Uh-huh.
put you in the best possible position to be funded. And at the end of the day,
Right.
the results are really up to a third party. They're up to the banks. Like
Right.
I can't control what a bank underwriting team is going to say or do, but what I do know is that there's a track record that people with this kind of credit report, with this kind of business model, with these kind of
Mm-hmm.
application points applying through this banker tends to lead to this type of result. And so we use that
Yeah.
data to strategize. But yeah, always,
I
always.
like that. I like that we did the trial and error, or not trial and error, but the trials on the smaller banks because, like when me and you were communicating, I would let you know, hey, this bank pulled from this lender. I mean, this credit consumer.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
pulled
yeah.
from experience because I was like, they're probably putting this in their data, saying, hey, California Trust and Bank, boom, they pull from experience,
Mm-hmm.
boom. Or you can go forward with your clients, the future clients, and be like, hey, what's your experience score kind of like looking at? Because this lender pulls from experience,
Yep.
and you're
Yeah.
gathering the data up front by going through these trials and being successful. But at least we have like more information from these consumers.
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah, I really appreciate you giving me that information as well.
Helps me too.
Yeah, no, exactly. Because then when we get other businesses that are like based in California, like yours is, for example, now we kind of
Mhm.
know a little bit more about what to expect from some of these smaller or more local banks as far as
Right.
like the process is, which credit bureau do they pull from? What
What they're
kind of
gonna ask
loans?
for, like the documents.
Exactly. Like, do they ask for
Some people
documents?
get scared and it's like all they're asking is for like a driver's license or something. And it's like, dude, relax, man. Oh, I got
Yeah,
denied
yeah.
because they need something. Did you look at the email? Send your driver's license, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I always tell people like if the banks are asking for like an EIN letter or a driver's license or a copy of your social security card or whatever, like that's a good thing. And the
Right.
reason is because they're getting ready to approve you. If they weren't
Yep.
getting ready to approve you, they would have denied you. Okay.
Right.
Think about this. Like banks want to lend, and if they're asking for more information, all they're doing is verifying one of two things: your identity
Yep.
or your business.
I literally had a banker, one of the banks that we applied at. I was all like, "Do you need all my tax information, my business tax information?" I was like, "What?" She's all like, yeah, we just need that, but it's just to verify that you're a business. We're not even looking at your income. And I was like, oh, okay. So I'm letting you know that's exactly what they're looking for. And then do not get discouraged from a denial. Always call and ask why. I've always followed up on all my denials and followed up and asked why. You know how many people don't follow up and ask why and they wait for that letter? You just burn 30 days.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
burn 30 days and maybe all you had to do is give them your ID or send them tax returns. And you could have got it approved. So do not get discouraged over a denial. Always ask why.
Yeah, just ask why. It's that simple. The banks want to lend to you, and they hope that you build that relationship even if you're denied, so that you can come back and get funding from them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not your enemy. Like, they're there to be your investor. They just have their protocols that they need to cross check.
Exactly.
Like I said, dude, that's crazy because I tell people that all the time too. Like, sometimes when they're dog checking you, like they just want to have like a bank statement or something. Dude, they're not even
Yeah,
looking
that's
at
it.
the revenue. They're just trying to verify that
No,
you have a business checking account. Like, that's what they want to see.
that's how we're like,
Which is
dude, just call
crazy.
and ask why. Just call and ask why. Some people are so scared. I'm all like, dude, you're calling and asking why so you can get more information and data back on your business. You're
Yeah.
helping yourself because now you have the information. Now you know. Now you have a direction. Okay, too many inquiries. What do you need to do? Get the inquiries erased.
Yep.
Get those removed. Somehow, some way. But now you know. But if you would have never asked, you wouldn't know those inquiries.
Yeah, exactly. See, we used to hoop. We know how to pivot. That's all it is.
I'm just saying, hey, the pivot game strong.
Pivot game strong. Well, hey, Doug, appreciate all this, man. What's next for you? I know you got the Detroit property. Is that kind of your main
Yeah.
focus, or is there anything else you're
Yeah.
working on right now?
Now that the garage is off my plate because I don't know if you know, but I was managing that whole project. I was financially managing it
Yeah.
all like A to Z. I was doing all that stuff. So that took a lot. And then once I like we all managed certain parts of it, but I handled like the cards, right? I was like, okay, I'll handle the cards. We all kind of oversaw it, but that was still on my plate. Like I said, I was managing 7 cards, and then adding 6 to that was kind of like, okay, so it was good to get that off my plate. Now I'm 100% focused on Detroit since the garage is rented out. That's like, boom, I don't have to worry about that. And then once Detroit should be finished around July, August. I'm thinking, but that's why I was pre-planning with him. I don't know if I think I'm gonna get another house in San Diego and convert the garage with the wifey. But we may just pivot and do like a rent-to-own situation here in San Diego and invest like a 6 to 10 unit in like Washington somewhere, me and Mason, and our other halves, man. Because doing 10 units, we do 10 units, rehab 10 units with the bank's money, 0% cards, rent out half Airbnb, half long term. Man, 10 units.
Awesome, hey. You guys are building some family legacy stuff over here, huh?
Oh yeah, that's what it's all about, man. And then refi, pay off the credit cards, and then do it again, move over
Yep.
the lines, and then
Yep. Hey, Mason, I'm gonna put you on the spotlight for a second as well. What's going on with you? What's next for you? Are you also kind of looking into this project with Doug? Anything
Oh
else?
yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, we've been talking about this for a while. We were kind of just waiting for things to line up to where we both kind of had the right time to do it together.
I think our projects are ending around the same time.
Yeah, I
Year.
mean, mine will probably be done in the next couple months. I'm converting out the basement of the house that we bought, rent out the top, separate from the bottom. It was unfinished basement, turning it into a 2-1. That should hopefully be done, like I said, next couple months, and then we'll get that a few months just to make sure we can kind of get everything in order financially and everything.
Optimize that.
Yeah, see how everything goes, and then once that's done, he should be done, and then my next move is to figure out what we're going to do next and tackle that.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun, man. The crazy part is they won't even use our income for like a 10 unit. That's fire. They're just gonna be using the debt coverage ratio. Oh man, I cannot wait. I love rehabbing homes with credit cards, 0%. You can't beat that, bro. You can't beat it.
I
You can't beat it.
appreciate
Yeah, man. I'm just so like, dude, 0%. Get out of here.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, for anyone watching this, you know the drill. If you're inspired by what Doug's been able to do, if you want to kind of get on Mason's level as well, set up a new business, get your credit right, jam out $100,000 to $200,000 in business funding at 0% interest, go ahead and just type the word funding below this video. I'll go ahead and shoot you a private message and we can have a conversation just like I did with these two about getting 50 to 150,000 in just a 30-day period. Okay. So you heard it here, folks.
Great.
First, folks. This is legit, you know, this is real. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it's not a scam. Like, if I was to see somebody, like, if I didn't do this myself, right, I'd be thinking, like, man, there's something going on here. Like this ain't right. You know,
at first with you, I was like, Mason, I'm telling you, dude. I was like, it works.
yeah. So like, it's crazy to think like within a month and a half to 2 months of needing money, not knowing nothing about a business, a LLC, none of that, that I could get 100K within 2 months, and it's
At 0%.
legal,
At
and it's
0%.
legal. It's not
At
it's not a
0%.
scam. Like that, to me, that's what, like, I feel like people might think, like, oh, you know, there's something going on here. No, this is
I just have a good credit profile.
real. Like, this is
I just have a good credit profile.
yeah. So
yeah, no, absolutely. You know, a lot of people probably do think it's a scam, you know.
oh, for real.
You probably did, and other people definitely
I did
feel
at
it
first.
too.
I ain't gonna lie.
Well, then that Airbnb that you just showed is a scam.
No, guys, hey, I appreciate you both being here. Doug, it's such a pleasure to be able to have you on one of these, man.
And I'm honored.
You're so knowledgeable with everything that you do. You know, you also stay a student of the game and you're humble about everything you do, about the way you learn, about the way you teach, about the way you communicate. I really appreciate you being on here and just kind of dropping some fire as far as like the plays you're running and how you're able to do them through creative financing. Mason, it's awesome to see you, man. I look forward to working with you both again in the future. But until then, peace out, guys. Thanks so much.
Man,
Thank
appreciate you.
Have a good one.
Yes, sir.
Later, guys.
Later.